Hello there, Drew Hanisch of Whiskey Lore, and it is time for another tasting video. Today we are going to Missouri wine country and we're going to taste whiskey. Now, a lot of people don't know that Missouri has a wine country. Actually, so does Indiana, and that used to be one of the most popular places before Napa Valley came along for wine in the United States. But we are tasting whiskey. And this is from a distillery in Hermann, Missouri. And this is SHIRE Stampede Blended Whiskey, 100 proof. This particular bottle's aged 2 years. As I understand it now, their more recent bottlings are 3-year. The way I found this place was I was on my trip back across the United States, and I wanted to go through to the town of Hermann because I had been there probably, oh man, when was that? That was 2011 was the last time I went through there. I was on a baseball trip and going to a bunch of Midwest baseball parks that I hadn't been to before. And I was going to go to Anheuser-Busch. I was doing some beer as well on that trip. And I thought, well, I'll go to the Anheuser-Busch distillery, but then I saw this town of Hermann that I was deciding to stay in. Germantown, last name Hanisch, part Czech, part German, so I got some German heritage in there, and I thought, well, it'd be great to stop off and spend a little time there. I actually went to a winery there that was an excellent winery, lots of wineries, like I say, in the area. This time going through, I wanted to stay in Hermann again, get some German food. There's a great little deli not too far from where the tasting room is for SHIRE, right in downtown Hermann. And it's a quaint little town. I stayed there. There was a speakeasy bar underneath the hotel that I stayed in, which was cool. So I went down and got a drink there as well. But we're not here to talk about Hermann, Missouri. We're here to talk about, although I will say, great place to visit. And they do Oktoberfest in October, not September, like how I found out the hard way when I booked my first trip to Germany and ended up in Germany in the first week of October. And they're like, oh, well, Oktoberfest was last month. What? Okay, you learn the hard way. Anyway, you've been warned if you decide to go. So the town was founded in 1837. The farm where this distillery is was established in the 1840s. So lots of history there. This is a grained glass distillery. So they're using their local corn and I don't know if they're doing all grains. I didn't actually get a chance to talk to the distiller, but this is their own product. This is not something that they have sourced, which is fun to see and to get a chance to experience something a little different. So on the nose, this comes right at you with that caramel smell. Their barrels, I don't know if they get them from Missouri Cooperage Independent Stave. That is, they say their barrels come from Missouri, and in Lebanon, Missouri, which isn't terribly far from there, in the Ozarks, there's a cooperage down there. I'm guessing that's probably where they get them from. Cool little tasting room too, and a nice view of the town if you get a chance to go. Caramel is about the main thing that I smell there. It's a little lighter in color, and that is likely because even though it's got a number 4 char, it's only 2 years in the barrel, so not a lot of time to get in there and age. So let's see how it tastes. Nice caramel and grain hits you first. Surprisingly nice mouthfeel to it. It takes a turn into rye. I mean, it takes a hard turn into rye. It doesn't it doesn't necessarily burn, and it's a really interesting rye. I haven't tasted a rye like this before. This is what, 75% corn. I'm not sure how much rye they're putting in, but I'm going to suggest that this likely is a high rye whiskey because the rye is very dominant. Just on the finish, you maybe catch a hint of it on the nose, then it really kicks in first with that caramel, and then as it develops, it's like, whoa, hello, here is the rye. It's almost a minerally rye. It's earthy. The first time I tasted it, I felt like, and this isn't going to sound great, but it wasn't off-putting, but it was almost like you were tasting the turf that it came from. It just had that earthy, minerally thing going on. On a second taste, that sort of dissipates. I smell the lemon and the grain a little bit more the second time. And there's an orchard fruit flavor that came in this time, actually, as I started heading through towards the finish. Now, the pepper fades away, but the caramel stays with you. It's actually got a nice long finish on the caramel side of things, but like I say, the spice kind of, it's there and then it's gone. So interesting whiskey, very interesting whiskey. And I always suggest that if you get a chance to stop off at one of the smaller local distilleries, it's always a cool thing to do, to see what these other distilleries are doing. And I was impressed enough to buy myself a bottle of it because I thought, you know what? You're not going to get this back in South Carolina, so why not bring it home with you? So here it is. So that is Black Shire Stampede blended whiskey. Now 3 years, I think, for the latest, according to their website. And not bad. It's, yeah, it's a good whiskey. I would say it's a good whiskey. And if you enjoy this review, please leave your comments below or hit the like button. The like button is the easiest way to go. And if you want more of these videos, then make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell if you want to know as soon as I launch new tasting videos or new interviews. Until next time, cheers and Slàinte There's a little citrus in there too. A little orange peel, I think. And maybe some lemon. Nice.